Hey everyone, Christina here with One Creative Direction. How are we doing today? So I'm going to do a little bit different video. No painting today. This is an instructional, presenting ideas to everyone kind of a video, which I do quite frequently because this brain never stops. So I'm always looking to improve my setup when I go to like a show. So I had a video a while back, sometime last year in 2023, don't ask me when, where I created this system to display my jewelry. Now basically what it was is I took a 36-inch by 12-inch, I believe it's like 3/4 inch thick piece of board. It cost less than $10 at the lumber store. I took that board and I plotted out all of the different heights that I would need, because at that time my jewelry, my pendants, bracelets, earrings, everything were on little white cards with my logo on it. And I would display those on here. The problem that I had was, actually there's multiple issues, so I'm just going to go over those and kind of review why I'm changing it. So I thought this would be great, having them all in one place. My goal was to get them on some sort of display and then create a way to transport them, so I didn't have to set up pegboard hooks or some other situation and then every time I get to a show spend countless amount of time like putting my jewelry on whatever display I had. So I was trying to get away from that issue because it is very, very time consuming to do that if you're one of those people that do that. God bless you. So I created this and then it worked really good. My cards fit on here beautifully. There's a couple things I didn't like about it. The first and most important one is if you're doing fluid art jewelry, you know that each piece is completely different than the other one. So if you're putting your cards on here 4 to 5 deep, 6 deep in some cases, you can't see what's behind those unless the person actually looks, takes the time to look. And that's what I feel was the biggest issue, is they can't see everything. They can only see the front one. Very few people would look behind. So that was the first problem. The second problem was transportation. This thing is large, as you can see, and it was challenging to find some place for it in my car, and I usually ended up putting it on the passenger seat beside me and then having to somehow tie it to the back of the seat. Really big pain in the butt because the height of it was always a challenge, trying to get it in and get it situated. So that was challenge number 2. Challenge number 3 was actually, I liked the fact that it hung from my canopy. So it didn't take any table space up, which was another reason why I went to a different type of display. My previous one took up tons of table space. So this hung from my canopy. So I attached these 2 handles to the top. They're basically just regular like cabinet poles or whatever you want to call them. I had those laying around the house. So I put those on the top and then I purchased these brackets. I don't even know what they're called or what they're for. There's a barcode on here. I think I got these at Menards. I purchased these, and basically this hangs on the handles. So you put the flat part on the handles, and then this is curved, so I had a real sturdy pole that I would slide it on. Now, once I got it hung, it was beautiful, but it's a challenge when you're setting up by yourself like I do to keep the pole in place and take this very heavy display and try to slide it on the pole. It's impossible to put this on the pole and then put it in the brackets. So trust me, I've tried every way to get it up there. It's very challenging, let me just tell you. So, there's that issue. Now, the other side, I had attached these magnetic panels that I got when Home Depot clearanced out a bunch of their craft section. They stopped selling all that stuff. So I bought these. I think they were like 50 cents a piece or 60 cents a piece or something. So I was displaying like all my magnets on here, and then I had some little magnetic hooks that I would put on here and hang, like I had some keychains and a few other things that hung on here. Those were very challenging because they would move around and sometimes fall off and I wouldn't know it. Because how I would transport this is I bought a large piece of foam and I basically cut a hole for each one of these pegs so it would slide right over this and keep my jewelry cards from falling off. And then it basically just wrapped around the whole thing, and then I had put some holes and connected it on the side. So it was supposed to keep everything on the panel when transporting. Now, this board alone, I just weighed it, with nothing on it, weighs 8 pounds. Granted, this entire thing was full with jewelry, and the back was full of magnets and keychains and all kinds of stuff. I'm guessing it weighed, when it was full, between 25 and 25-ish pounds, okay? So lugging that thing around wasn't ideal. It's big, it's bulky, it's heavy, okay? So I'm not going to use this anymore. I have moved everything to these panels. So I found these panels on Amazon. They're pegboard panels. So you can see from the back that they're pegboard. Okay, and then this is what my displays look like now. I really like the black. I think it makes everything really pop. And not only does it make everything really pop, but you can see all of the various colors and designs of the pendants, right? So to me, this is a lot better than the setup that I had. The other thing with putting my jewelry on cards is I always attached a chain or a cord or, you know, something. So I'm basically choosing what that person wants. So a lot of times I always offered, you know, to change the, you know, the necklace chain or cord. That I had a sign that said, you know, select your chain. So I was always, I would say 50+% of the time when I sold jewelry, I would change that out for the customer's preference. So to me, that tells me that people obviously want to choose what they want. So I made these. I'm going to tell you guys how I made them, because when I started making them, I didn't think about making a video, but I can share with you the thoughts behind creating this. So I wanted to be able to see everything, as you can see, and I wanted them to be easily transported so they don't fall off, right? And then I wanted, obviously, everything to be visible to the customer, but I needed them to be secure. So here's what I did. First step, you can purchase these panels on Amazon. I will put the link down in the description box in case you're interested in this. And if you're interested in the first setup that I showed you, I'll also put the link to that creation video. It's super cheap to create that display that I just showed you. But also this wasn't that expensive. But of course I had a lot of this stuff here already, so it didn't really cost me anything to go out and buy it. So just kind of think of that, like, what do you have that you can use, okay? So again, this is probably heavier because it's got the bigger pendants, but I really like how you can see everything, right? You can see all the different choices. I have different styles and shapes and all kinds of choices there. And then this is probably my least favorite and my most favorite. I like the earring display. I'm not so sure about the bracelets. I think I'm gonna leave them like this for a while until I figure something else out. But I have space to add if I want to. And then for my magnets, they actually all fit on one panel. And again, I really like the black. It makes them pop. So for this one, I just didn't cover it so you can see the metallic. These are metallic or metal pegboard panels. So you can see all of those there. Now, why didn't I cover this one with material as well? I was going to initially, and I may at some point get a really, really thin black material and put over this, but the material that I covered the rest of them with, some of these magnets just weren't strong enough to go through the material. Some of them were, some of them weren't. I didn't want to take the chance of them falling off. These are super secure. They're not going to fall off. So that's pretty much why I didn't cover it. May change at some point. If I find a really, really thin black material, I may do that. So how did I do this? So again, I bought the metal panels. You get 4 in a pack. I think they're like 11 something wide and I want to say 17 high or something like that. They're kind of an odd size. So the first thing I did was decide that I wanted to cover them in some sort of material. So I already had this black velvet material that I had purchased a while back to line the inside of some wood boxes I made into jewelry boxes. I thought it would, would look really nice with a nice velvet inside. So I had lots of this left. And I'm guessing I got it at like Joann or, one of those fabric stores. But it's a really kind of a stretchy black velvet. You can see it. And I'm gonna show you the back of it so you can see that it's kind of fibrous. Yeah, so it's stretchy, which made it somewhat challenging to cut, but if you have some really sharp shears, it should be pretty easy. So I basically just set the panel on the back of it, and I have a colored marker, and I basically just mark the material and then cut it. It doesn't have to be like exactly perfect, but what I did, and what you do may be similar or different, but because I wanted the sides of these to be open, I didn't want the velvet on the sides. The top and bottom didn't matter. I just didn't want it on the sides because I want to be able to use that side for something else. And I'm not sure yet. I have a few ideas, but I wanted to leave that option open. I didn't want the material to cover that. So all I did was take, and I had some, searching for it here. I had this big box of Velcro that I had bought at Menards a while back. I think I paid $5 for this whole big box, maybe $6 at the most. It's indoor, outdoor, it's heavy duty Velcro. It comes in rolls, so you get a roll of each side of it, right? I've used this for quite a few things, and I just cut the roll in half. That's how I use it for just about everything else. So these are probably 1 inch wide. I just cut these ones in half. So basically 1/4 of that roll I took and I made about that long, cut these all in half, and I just put that across the top of here, right? I just laid it across the top, attached the velvet to it, and then stretched it down and did the same thing to the bottom. You could use anything else. I have some 3M double-sided tape that I bought at a automotive store. That will work. That stuff is amazing, but to me it's a little bit more expensive. I used the Velcro because I wasn't sure if I was going to want to remove the panels at some point. So I wanted it to be a little bit versatile. So from there, I'm like, okay, so how do I get these things to stay? And I tried everything. And then I had the brilliant idea. I had these little tiny zip ties that had come with something a while back. I thought, well, what if I could zip tie them? That would make them 100% not come off of these panels. And so I gave it a try with, I only had like maybe 10 or 20 of them. They came with something, I don't remember what they came with, and I just never used them. So I tried a few of them and it worked really, really good. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm onto something here. So basically, I bought these from Amazon. The original ones I had were red, but I didn't want you to see the red, so I bought black. I think they're called 4-inch 80 millimeter, whatever you want to call it, 2 millimeter by 80 millimeter zip ties. They're very, very small, okay? And the tips can I get it in the picture here? The tips are pretty, I don't want to say sharp, but they come to like a point, and you can poke that point right through the fabric pretty easily. So essentially I just put a light behind it, and I'll show you when it's stretched, you can poke this. I can get my hand in the, you can poke it right through the fabric, just like that. And then this goes through the top of the pendant, and then you basically take it through, this is not a very good, take it through. So this is gonna be one hole that it's coming through on the back, the pegboard holes, and you're gonna take it through the next hole. And it holds it up there really nice. And I'll show you the back of it here in a second, so you can get a visual from the back side. And then once I got them all on there, let me show you one that has a lot more items on it. It'll be a lot easier to see. So you can see the back here. So you poke it in through the back, and then attach it through one of the pendant tops, and then back through that hole next to it, and then just squeeze them. Now you don't want to tighten them extremely tight. You want to leave them just slightly loose, so they're not like at an angle like this or something, like a weird angle. You want them to be able to dangle just a little bit, but not too much, because you don't want them swinging all over the place. So you can see that. So basically what I'm planning to do, and I haven't done it yet, is there's some blank holes up here at the top corners. All right, there's one there and one there. And I'm going to paint these black. These are just I want to say, I don't think it's 2 inches, maybe 1.5 inches by 24 inches. And I think it's like 3/4 thick. My plan is to attach 2 of these to one of these boards. So you can fit, because these aren't quite 12 inches across, you can fit 2 of these and still have a gap in between them. So it'll look kind of nice, or you can butt them up to next to each other. And then you're still gonna have some space here at the end. I think when I had it up there, I think I had about that much space at each end if I butt them up to each other in the center. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna screw these to this, and then I'm going to drill some holes in the end, one on each end. And I have some like plant hanger hooks that I got at Dollar Tree. Those are gonna go through those holes that I drilled, and I'm again gonna hang these from my canopy. So instead of it being 36 inches vertical, you're gonna have more of an eye level view of the jewelry from my canopy, and it won't obstruct anything. I was always really challenged because of it hung so long. If I hung it in front of my table, it would pretty much hit the top of my table because it took up so much room, right? Where these, well, let's say this is the bottom of my canopy, they're gonna hang at eye level. So people will be able to visually see them a lot better. And then I always carry scissors and nippers and all kinds of tools with me. So when they decide what they want, I will just nip that zip tie from the back side or the front side, either one, and take that pendant off. So that's my intention. I am not sure how well it will work. I want to be able to compare my sales from hanging them on the previous display versus how my sales will be on these now that everything is visible. And I'll get an opportunity to do that. I have a show next month. It'll be my first show here in Florida. I will be in, what's the name of the town? What is the name of the town? I forgot. Port Lucie. There's a big show at the fairgrounds. I will be at that show. So now you're asking yourself, okay, Christina, great. The pendants look fantastic on the black velvet. And I did ask a couple thousand people what they thought, and almost unanimously the answer was, this is so much better. And I'll be honest, I agree. So you're probably asking yourself, okay, that's great, but how are you going to display, or how are you going to communicate that, you know, they have a chain option? So basically what I'm going to do is, these are all of my different chain options, and I'm still working on the best way to display this. So these are all the different chain options I have. So you can see why I wanted to separate the pendants from these, because they do have so many options, and I want them to choose what they want. So basically what I'm going to do is I just dropped that. I have each one of my options on these. I think they're like really generic. I want to say these are shower curtain hooks, like really generic ones that I think you can get at like the Dollar Tree or Lowe's. I think I got these at Lowe's, but I've always used these for various things with my crafts and stuff to hold stuff together. But I have like different chain options, and they're just hung here by their clasp so they don't get all tangled. So you can see, really nice. I'm not going to display these. These will be behind so I can get to them very easy. I'm debating on whether or not I want to display the chain options on these, or if I want to figure something else out. If I do it on these, I'm going to have to, I think either way I display them, I'm going to have some little tags that say like what the length of the chain is. Like some of them, I've got them all separated. So I have these little jewelry displays that I've had. I always displayed these if I had room at a show. I may take the necklaces off of there and not display those, although I do think people need a visual. So we'll have to see. I may just buy some more and display those as well. So I've separated all of my chains in these bags that I already had. Okay. So these are going to hang behind so I can get to these easily once they decide what chain option they want. So that's kind of my general idea. I do have 3, I think they're 14 by 14 little tiny grid panels. And I've used them off and on in my displays over the years. And I almost got rid of them before I moved, and I'm glad I didn't. Because what I did, I think I've already put those away in a box. What I did was I covered those also with the black velvet material. And my plan was to attach these displays to them, these necklace displays, and then maybe get one of these. I was looking at them on Amazon. These are pretty small. I think they're like maybe 8-inch ones, but they have like really large ones. So I thought if I got a really large one that I could display every one of the options. My challenge is that a lot of these options are black. So I don't know if I need to purchase a white one and a black one. So I'm still kind of exploring that. But the gist of it is I am going to display those various options in a really nice manner so it's clear, you know, what they look like. But I also think it's important to also kind of visualize what they look like on a chain, or what the earrings look like, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with everyone, and thinking that, you know, maybe somebody is like me and they're always looking for like the best option to display their jewelry, their pendants. And even if you aren't a fluid artist and do, you know, paint jewelry, even if you're, you know, just selling other types of jewelry or other things that you could use these displays for, I'm sure that they would be very versatile in displaying all kinds of jewelry. So please let me know what you think in the comments. Like I said, I will link the products that I used the zip ties, and the panels that I purchased from Amazon. I will link those in the description box below, so always check the description box. And then I'll link the video to create the previous version. But really curious what you guys think. If this is something that you think you might want to do for yourself, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for joining me, everyone. I'll catch you on the next one.